Oh,
Man, this is gonna be a conversation, man. It's gonna be a conversation.
absolutely.
But we gotta see what we can learn from it as business people, and we gotta also help people because we all know somebody's going through the situation right now. That's the disgusting part.
That was disgusting.
Hmm. So I think it's gonna be a conversation, man. So initially, when you seen it, what was your thoughts?
You know,
Oh no,
uh,
no, yeah, I know in the beginning you was like,
yeah,
I think it's a money grab. I don't know.
yeah.
So when you first seen the video on Friday, what was your initial reaction, or what you thought?
I was thoroughly disgusted, bro.
And then after you seen that, you was like, he probably did the majority of stuff they saying.
Yeah, pretty much, bro.
Yeah. Like
Pretty
what?
much. I would say this. I would say this. I never, honestly, I never doubted that he did um the things that he was really alleged to do. I never doubted it per se. It was more for me. It was more one of those things where put like this, bro. It's kind of like when you go to like when let's say you get out of high school, you go to the college parties, you wild out, right? And you are in, some people may be into drugs, some people may be into sex part. I don't know, you know what I mean? Different people may be into different things in college. You got people that literally wild out in college.
Right.
And when they get older, some of them may be embarrassed of the behavior that they partake, you know,
And some
in
go to the next
college.
level with it.
Huh?
Some a little embarrassed, and some go to the next
And
level of their
some go to the
weirdness.
next level with it. And so for me, it was more of a like, is this one of them situations where
Like a
it
phase.
was, yeah, a phase that somebody is maybe embarrassed about now, right? And or is this something where it was a true uh 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 you know uh criminal case? And so for me, that was what I was toying between until I seen the video. After I seen the video, it was obvious, it was already obvious. I always felt like P. Diddy was, a disgusting individual. You know what I'm saying? I've never once I kind of got word of the things that he was doing, and the fact that he had just, bro, he was still partying like a 19-year-old in his 50s. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, like at some point it's just like, yo, like,
You gotta stop.
yeah, like what you doing, bro? You know what I mean? So
I got a question. What
yeah,
what signs did you get that he was a disgusting man? Because you say you been thought he was disgusting man.
just bro, like the lifestyle. You know what I mean? Like the lifestyle, bro. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're not married. Not saying,
That's weird.
yeah, you know what I'm saying, but it's like you're not married. You're still partying. You're still running through massive amounts of women, um, and unabashed. Another thing too, bro. Like he was with Young Miami, and I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I really felt like Young Miami I feel like Young Miami probably would have, you know what I'm saying, really, rock with P. Diddy. You know what I mean? But it was like he was playing on him.
Now you think now I got a question.
Yeah.
Now, do you think Young Miami was going through the same stuff as Cassie, or you think he changed and
I
they was
think he
just
was a
kicking?
different individual because I feel like Cassie needed P. Diddy. See, abusers, what I realized about a lot of abusers, bro, is abusers are typically more abusive to people who
To the
need,
weak
yes.
as their target.
Yes. People who need them, people who feel like they can't, operate outside of them. You know what I mean? That's when that true abuse comes, because I'm pretty sure he wasn't that way with Jennifer Lopez, right? They say that he was not that way with Heavy D. You understand what I'm saying? But he was that way with his mom. I've heard allegedly. I've heard he was that way with Kim Porter. He was that way with his first baby mother as well, his other baby mother as well. Uh, so
Selective.
yeah, selective.
Yeah, that's pussy shit there, bro.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But let's get to this intro, man. Let's get to this intro, man, and we got to talk about
Let's
this.
go. Yeah, it's gonna be.
Anybody want to pull up? We definitely want to, hear your take on this, because this is finna go deep. We got to learn today.
Let's do it. Good morning. Welcome to another No Stingy Energy show, man. We talk about surviving P. Diddy today, about the altercation that just happened, that just came up on Friday. We're going to say our thoughts about it, what we think about it. But before we get into it, my name is O'Neal Parker, real estate investor, entrepreneur out of Lafayette, Louisiana. Been investing in real estate since 2016, full-time entrepreneur since 2020, do all things real estate. Love passive income, love rentals. I'm a contractor, investor, entrepreneur, and also a mentor. So if you're looking to get some construction work done in the Louisiana area, hit us up. If you're looking to learn how to actually do real estate, multiple different levels, get at me with that. And go ahead, B.
Yeah, listen, my name is Byron, real estate investor out of Houston, Texas, primarily focused on the wholesale space, do a little bit of creative finance, fix and flip, new construction, new to the build to rent space. Excited about that. And today, unfortunately, I'm not on camera because, I'm in the process of moving. Plus, we just had this crazy storm. Internet has been slow. So I just wanted to make sure that we have a seamless podcast from an audio perspective, at least, on today. So I don't have my system, not in my system, don't have my studio set up, none of those things. But we're going to rock out and make it work. And hopefully, next time I'm going to have everything set back up. But with that being said, I feel like it's a lot of things we can learn from what's taking place with P. Diddy. I feel as entrepreneurs, as people who are looking to level up our game, I think it's a lot to learn. Tell me this though. What's your thoughts on the P. Diddy situation?
Man, I'm not gonna lie. We got a clip with Ryan Clark. I feel the exact same way. I think Ruby, if you can't pull it up, I feel the same exact way as Ryan Clark, man. Like I said, if any man do that type of shit, bitch, man, him and everybody that's around him. Like,
Fact.
Me personally, if I would see, let's just say my cousin, my uncle, just anybody that's close to me, even hit a woman like aggressively, bro, we got a real problem. And as a man, you got to step in between that and deaden that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a wrap. Like, even the security guard that worked for him, like, bro, you worked for him for years. And you ain't do nothing? Like, you're not even doing what you're hired to do. You're a security guard, like, or whatever. Like, come on, bro. Bro, I'd have him his ass up, bro. That's a wrap. And I quit. Straight Even though you probably will get fired, but nah, he said, I know we're going to get into the videos, but I think when Cassie had to go to a different hotel, he was the one checking up on her and shit. Like, why you even let it get to that point that she had to, if she went to a hotel, then you should have gave her some money or something to just escape from the whole situation. That's what I feel like. That's what should have happened. Like, the first time that shit would have happened, I'd have said, look, go catch a plane, hit some money, get away from this dude. I'm not understanding why nobody done it. I
Yeah.
think I think I know why though.
Wow.
Because like what you said earlier, like everybody around him needs him.
Yeah.
Like the men that was working for him need him. They probably enjoy the lifestyle that he was providing. He probably was paying for, let's just say, their mom. He was doing over the top things to keep them around to not say nothing. Basically,
Facts.
does that sound kind of? Did I say that
Yeah,
clearly?
absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, bro, people have jobs, people have families, people make excuses for certain things and behaviors. You got to understand, bro. You got Fortune 500 companies that was dumping chemicals into the water streams at jobs, right? And justified it by saying, well, um, I got to feed my family while
Yes.
killing,
Wow.
like, you understand what I'm saying? Dumping chemicals into water streams.
Yeah, but you gotta have some type of integrity, some type of values for yourself. Like, bro, if I ain't got no money, if I'm homeless, I'm still not. Like, bro, come on, bro.
Yeah, it's a level of integrity. You know what I'm saying? Now,
Certain level of a man, bro. Like, come on, bro.
yeah. Now he did also say too that he mentioned to Cassie, why don't she do this and why don't she do that? And he said that a lot of times when he would come to her, she would go back and tell him when the
Huh?
relationship was good. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
when the
yeah, yeah.
relationship
Now,
was back good, she would go back and tell him, you know what I mean? And then he would go back to him and be like, yo, like, why are you getting in my relationship?
yeah, I ain't gonna lie. That's a little. Now, if that situation would happen, I'd be like, bro. I guess my hands is tied. I keep trying to help you, but you keep going back. So what would you do in a situation like that, Byron? That's a great point. Because a lot of people do that. You keep telling somebody, look, you about to run into these situations. Do this, do that, and they keep going back. Me personally, I hate shit. I hate stuff like that.
I mean, how many people have been in a situation to where they've seen this happen, maybe in a family, right? And, you get involved and the person goes back to that person
On multiple occasions.
on multiple occasions. And matter of fact, not only do they go back to the person who abuses them, but they also blame you for even getting involved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Me personally, bro, I do something the first time. Probably the second time. If you keep going back, bro, I'm out of there. Y'all do what y'all gotta do. That's just me though. Now if I see it happen in front of my face, of course something gonna happen. But I don't know, bro. What's your thoughts about that?
I mean, obviously, bro, you see somebody being abused, you know what I mean, at that level, bro, in that disgusting manner, bro. You going like the natural man in you is going you just gonna
Yeah,
be, yeah, you gonna wanna put hands and feet on Diddy, man. Like it's just disgusting. Because it was disgusting to me for a couple reasons. Number one, she didn't even fight back, right?
nah, yeah, they're like a sack of potatoes, bro.
Yeah, she didn't fight back. And the other piece to that
Wha-
was
Wait, before you go too far. So when you notice she didn't fight back, what was your thoughts about that?
it was a couple things. It was a couple things. Number one, it told me that
That wasn't the
this
first
wasn't
time.
nothing new. Yeah, this wasn't nothing new. You know what I'm saying? This was something that's been taking place throughout their relationship since the beginning. The way he ran out of that whatchamacallit though, bro, I ain't gonna lie to you, with that tile situation. And this is according to the lawsuit too. Apparently, apparently they had just gotten to a fight before and he had hit her and
Nah,
blackened her eye. And so the way he ran out that phone, you know how like dudes, you know what I'm saying? It almost gave me the vibe like a dude, running, to running his phone down when you know what I'm saying? Like Like, cause bro, like who runs out in a bath towel and some socks like that, bro? To you know what I mean? Like it gave me that running to get that iPhone, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kind of vibe. And so I'm thinking in my mind, I'm thinking he probably was like he had did something that was extremely egregious behind closed doors that we couldn't see, right? And he knew that if she left, she
It's
was
gonna
gonna
get
be
out.
running around with a blackened eye, and everybody was gonna be asking, "Yo, how you know, like how your eye get blackened like that?" And so, you know, based on the lawsuit that she filed, you know, the information she put in that lawsuit, and what we're looking at here, this looks like he was trying to protect his image, and he went out there and he fought that innocent woman, brutally attacked that woman because he didn't want to be exposed for blacking that woman's eye. You understand what I'm saying? And
Right.
as a result of that, that's what it looks like we witness. What's your thoughts on that?
So initially, like when he hit her the first time, well, first when she was walking out the room, I was like, yeah, something just went down. She trying to get away from the monster.
Absolutely.
Then when he ran out the room, bro, I'm like, oh, yeah, it's kind of like what you said, like, oh, this shit, something is the reason why he's doing it. Because if they just got in a fuss and she left, most men be like, man, go ahead. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with your shit anyway right now.
Yeah.
But when he hitting her like that, you can tell that's like that happens on a regular basis. Cause she like, let me go ahead and take this so it can be over.
Yeah, bro. Exactly. Which is
And that's horrible.
that's horrible. So let's talk about this. You know what I mean? You got daughters. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Um, I mean, what is your take on a situation like this? You got a daughter. She would have do like a Diddy. Obviously, she was with Diddy because you know she was with Ron Leslie before, right?
Mhm.
And apparently they had an intimate relationship as well as a business relationship, right? She left Ron Leslie to pursue a new relationship with Diddy, right? And they had a relationship as well as a business relationship. Obviously, you know, I mean, her intent from, based on pattern was she wanted to get on, like she wanted to kick off her career.
Right.
Um, and what do you say about her approach? Right. So let's be critical. Let's be critical of some of the things that we feel like Cassie may have made some missteps on in terms of the way that she pursued her music career. Now, I liken this to business as well, right? Because in business, sometimes we will want to skip steps, right? We'll
Yeah.
want to cut corners to our journey, right? Do you feel Cassie maybe tried to cut some corners in the music business, or was that just kind of like what she was supposed to do? What's your thoughts on that?
I say me personally, the route she went, I don't think she had to do that because she was never really popping like that anyway.
But in her mind, she probably thought she was that girl. You know what I'm saying?
She,
And she
I
probably
think,
thought she had a shot because I mean, every artist believes that they should be that one.
right? I think she had maybe what 2 hits, max three. Um, yeah, maybe she was going for that, but Diddy probably didn't want her to be in the spotlight like that.
Why not?
Cause type of man he is. He don't like other people looking at his women. He don't like his girls smiling. You just look at all the interactions they had in the past. Like if she would be talking to a guy, it could be both of them. If Diddy's talking to a man, and then the man started talking to Cassie, you'd have a weird face. I'd have to bring up the videos, but he was insecure about her getting attention from anybody, her getting in the spotlight. So he basically like, yeah, you can make a song here and there, but you're not about to be popular like Mariah Carey and all that because it's too much attention and he can't handle it. Obviously,
Yeah,
we see that.
absolutely. But tell me this though, what does that say to that? Because I'm trying to open this up for the woman, the next woman that may be pursuing a career, right, in a particular space.
That's not the way to do it, bro. Because you got to think about it. Most people that's on top, that a chick or just anybody that try to get with that person to get up to the next level, for the most part, it never works. Because the one that's at the top feel like the one that's less, their career is less than, feel like you need me to go where you trying to go. And that's when they get control of them. Like, if you don't do what I tell you to do, I will not make a song for you. So we can go take this back all the way to I know a lot of people here probably watched it. Stevie J and Jocelyn. Jocelyn was just like Cassie because Stevie J was the man at one point because he used to be with P. Diddy. Jocelyn was with him to try to make it big in the music. Did it ever happen for her? Hell no. Because Stevie tried to control the situation. You did you
Yeah,
ever watch it?
absolutely. My
It's the same thing.
my thing is this, right? Because I've kind of, I've seen not just the music, and I've been a part of the music industry, but I've also seen business, right? And I've also witnessed that dynamic of somebody wanting to help you, but also gatekeeping you at the same time.
Yeah, they want to control your situation. That you always need them.
And they want to use you, not necessarily
It's a trophy.
elevate you.
Yeah, it's want to use it as a trophy.
And so, matter of fact, has anybody been in a situation where the person that you felt was supposed to be helping you was really only,
Helping themselves.
yeah, helping themselves and gatekeeping your level of success? I know I've been there. I've been in a situation where people have tried to gatekeep my success or want to keep me at a certain level, right? Didn't want me to feel like I was growing too big. And what I realized about that, in every situation that I've been in. Matter of fact, if you've been in that situation where you feel like the person that was supposed to be helping you was really helping you up into a certain point, and then they just wanted to gatekeep your level of success. If you've been in that situation, put a number 1 in the chat.
Can I add something, Byron?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, I think in the beginning, I don't think the abuse happens right away, right? I think it starts with, wow, you're very talented. Wow, I just, this hero complex that certain people have, right? Where
They
they
gotta
want,
butter. They gotta butter you up first.
yeah, So I think in this case with Cassie, that happened in the beginning, especially looking at who P. Diddy was, it was like, wow, this is a mentor. This is someone that's going to take my career to the next level. I think what ended up happening, is once he was able to remove her support system, right? Because I mean, all of his staff was his staff. It wasn't really Cassie's staff. So it makes it harder to leave. And then you feel like if I leave, you know, what does this look like for me? And I think, where we mess up sometimes is we fault people and we don't understand where they really are coming from, especially when you don't have an outlet. I'm not saying that like she couldn't just leave, but sometimes you stay in familiar places because it's familiar. You don't know how the world will perceive you changing, how you feel. So even though the bodyguard might have rescued her a few times, like, hey, you can make a move. I mean, let's look at Tina Turner. They openly had fights and she still went back, right? But I think as people, we can't also turn our backs on the people. I'm not saying put yourself in that dangerous situation, but always be an open door that they can listen to, because eventually they are going to get to the point and they just want to know that there's somebody's going to be there, and I think sometimes as men, you can detach too soon to where a woman might feel like, well, if I tell you and I do go back because I am in love, you're going to judge me. So we have to also be mindful of the people that we're judging. Always keeping the lines of communication like, hey, I'm here, but I can't put myself in a situation that you're not ready to leave. All I can do is support you, there. And I think that's where us as society, we need to look at it from that stance. Because, it's going to take a few times before someone leaves. Think of anything that you've gone through. It becomes a habit, right? Abuse is a cycle. It continues to happen even long after that person is gone out of their lives. People still stay in that world, and it takes a support system of people that are willing to listen, not necessarily to do or act and remove, but some people, it takes a different time to just have people as a support system and rebuild that rapport with people that are healthy because you've been attacked by somebody that's unhealthy.
Yeah, I agree. And it's funny, when you mention that, because that's why I wanted to bring up the whole, being helped but gate kept at the same time. And that's why it's critical as business people or anybody that's looking to be successful. Especially, I've seen this more so on like in job situations, right? Where it, I would liken it more in a job or situation. You have somebody to help you, but only to a certain point. But then they turn around and hate on you at the same time. It's like it's a weird dynamic sometimes that you can find yourself in. And a lot of times, man, what I realize is that respect is sometimes just as important, but it's risky, right? Because when you make somebody respect you, they may not be as open to helping you as much, right? But at the same time, I believe that when somebody respects you, they're less likely to abuse you too. They're less likely to abuse. It's kind of like a young Miami situation, right? I believe that he probably never put his hands on young Miami. You know what I'm saying? He probably never have, because ultimately Miami was able to stand on her own too. She was ultimately able to stand on her own too. Same thing with Jennifer Lopez. He probably never put his hands on Jennifer Lopez. Probably was a different person. Huh?
Well, I think, but then that's also making, here's my thing about that, Byron, right? You can come into a situation, right? And depending on different circumstances, people are changing different. I believe that those other women also went through similar abuse, just might not have been physical, I think sometimes, as women, we look at the bad boy image, right? And what that looks like. And some women, they were like, oh yeah, if he just hems me up on the wall, they're cool with that, right? Then you have other women like, oh no, you can never do that. So I think we got to look at, both those scenarios. But in my career, I remember early on working underneath a couple of men, and they would gatekeep other people working with me, and I did not like that. And I didn't even know it was going on allegedly. It was, oh, I brought her up, I put her on. You know what I'm saying? And what I realized is it was a control tactic, right? So I mean, that was like in my first year of business, and I didn't like that type of situation or that environment, and even telling that person, I remember being in front of him, and other men were talking to me, and they're just talking business, and that same person was like, oh, I'm hungry, I want to do this. I had to like really exit the situation quick. I mean, you wasn't my man or none of that. So but it does happen in the workplace, right? That doesn't mean that I didn't have any respect for myself, because I definitely didn't stay long. But sometimes you're in situations and not even knowing that it's going on, So I hear what you guys are saying about, some women that, they have standards and this and that, but you really don't know until you're around abusers. I've been in situations where, I had no clue that this person acted like this. And you befriend these people, you let down your guards, and then they do a 360. Oftentimes, that's not how they were. That's not how they presented themselves. It's usually when your support systems are not there, where you don't have other men in the community monitoring the situation either. A lot of young girls, they meet these types of men, and then they alienate themselves from everybody that cares about them. And that's a sure sign that, she's now put this man as basically, the person over her to make all the decisions, which is unhealthy. But that's also because there's a lack of leadership in the community, where there's a lot of men that won't say nothing, that won't, stay around. I mean, let's look at Michel'le and Dr. Dre. There's a bunch of men, Eazy and all them, but she did keep going back to the abuse. But also, were they really a safe place for her too? So I think we got to look at it, all around, and not just look
Tell
at
me
it.
this. Tell me this. What do you feel when you saw that gatekeeping energy start to kind of like move in your space? What made you say, you know what, I'm out of here? Like what was the triggers that made you get out of that situation? Because obviously I've seen that type of mentality, not just with men. I've even seen it with women as well. It just presents itself in a different way. But what made you say, you know what, like, I'm off this?
Well, for me, I've been in a domestic violence situation. It's back when I was like 21 years old. I ended up being stabbed by a boy. He's in prison now, and I remember it wasn't the boy that I had the initial abuse with. It was my boyfriend at the time. So a lot of that, it triggered parts of me that I had not healed, or I was still going through therapy and things. So what I learned is, when I see someone trying to control me, that is an immediate red flag. Like, why are you trying to not allow other people to work with me? Like, we're not in a relationship. You're not my spokesperson. We're not even business partner. Matter of fact, you're a client. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it literally put me in a position like, oh no. And I mean, I literally left. There was another guy there that walked me to my car. And I told him then, I said, I won't be coming back. And you can tell him that, our business contract is ended, because I just did not like that feeling at all. But, it definitely triggered something within me to where I just did not feel safe. I felt like he would try to muzzle me because he wanted me to have his full attention. I mean, he invited me down to see his podcast, but he was making tactics as if he was my man. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's what threw me off. Like, other men are trying to talk to me and you're telling me you're hungry and you want to go eat. It threw me off, So for me, it was an immediate exit. So learning to see what red flags were definitely was something that I had to learn, especially coming from, being in foster care and not having, brothers, that raise. Some women, that's not always, the life. So once I did start seeing those flags, it was easy to remove. But in the beginning, no, like, being with a man and you love that man, it's a different thing, because you might not see all the flags. You might not see, oh, he just raised your voice, or, oh, he just wants to be in control of the checkbook, right? It takes some time to develop into full-blown abuse. And that's where, as a woman now, looking back, I had to learn to see the red flags, and then also be accountable for myself, right? Like, what was my standards and what are my boundaries and things like that. So that's kind of where I come from that.
Any women in the chat, if you've ever been in a situation where you felt a man or a woman, I don't want to, was isolating you, right? Because they typically say that that's the first sign, right, of an abuser. Like, they try to isolate you. If you've ever felt that way, like, put a number 1 in the chat. I just want to know. And then I also want to know, what did you do to either A, recognize that situation, B, did you fall victim to that situation, or did you immediately recognize those signs of attempted isolation and you just exited the situation? I want to know real quick, because I want to know what it looks like. So back to you too. You have a daughter who's looking for opportunity. 2 daughters. But I'm just saying, I'm saying one of your daughters is looking for opportunity. They're ambitious, right? they're ambitious, and obviously Cassie was very ambitious, right? And that, I would argue that part of the reason why she allowed herself to be in the presence of a monster like a P. Diddy was partly maybe because of relationship, maybe a little bit of love. I would argue more so probably ambition, right? And
Yeah.
so what would you say? How would you protect your daughters in a situation, or even your sons in a situation like that? What would be your advice to that?
Well, I say as a parent, especially a parent to women, it's your job as a father to expose your kid to as much stuff as possible so they're not impressed when the guys try to impress them with things. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, as a man, I'm gonna take my daughter on certain trips. I'm gonna take her to certain restaurants. I'm gonna give her certain experiences. So whenever she gets to dating, when a dude say, "Let's go to this restaurant," it ain't nothing new to her. It's not like, "Oh, okay, I never been to Ruth Chris before. This I'm so excited," because that's how typically people start to fall for people because they give them new experiences they never experienced before. So as a father, you have to give your daughter those experiences. So when another dude come, you like, man, I didn't did this before. I didn't went to Paris before. I didn't went to Spain before. Man, I don't need to be flying out. I could buy my own ticket. I don't need none of that. So as a father, you have to show her all those things before any dude ever comes. Because if a dude starts to give you all the things you ever wanted and you're impressed and blown away, that's how you get sucked in, because you don't want to stop that lifestyle. You don't want to stop that because it's everything you always wanted. Yes, it's everything I always wanted. I may get a black eye every now and then, but I'm cool with that because this is all the things I ever prayed for. So for me as a dad, that's the things I'm doing. So my kid not gonna be impressed by a vehicle. They're not gonna be impressed by a restaurant. They're not gonna be impressed by clothes. They're not gonna be impressed by a purse. They're not gonna be impressed by money because they're gonna have all that.
Well, oh, what about, I think I like how you started that, but also I think what women really need to see is how you treat the woman in your life, how you treat
That too.
women around you, how you treat them when, their feelings are hurt, because there's going to be a time where someone breaks her heart. And I think it's important as men to look at how you interact with women, how you interact is what she's really going to go off of. If you yell and scream in arguments, if she doesn't feel like, your wife or the mother doesn't have a voice, what does that look like, and setting those structures up? Because two things can happen with giving a person everything. They also can go into a relationship and 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 treat men in abusive ways financially. Well, you can't do this, you can't do that, and that can also be damaging in a relationship too. So I think as men, I think the biggest thing that you can do is lead by example, because women are watching. I think the biggest bond for a woman is looking at a father. Is what does that relationship look like? Can I come to you and you accept my emotions, but also help me process those things? And I have a realistic grip on life, on what is healthy, what is not healthy, right? Because even I've seen girls that have gotten all of that, right? They've gotten everything from their family and still end up with the bad boy, because now the bad boy saying, well, see, you miss prissy, you miss, spooning your mouth. So having that confidence that, yeah, I might have gone through this, but I also understand life. I understand that I have to work for this, because there's a lot of girls that have had great childhoods, but they still end up with that bad boy because he's rebellious, because he might come from poverty. So it's intriguing for her to say, oh, well, I just want to, meet you where you're at. Well, that can also be a dangerous situation. So that's all I wanted to say.
Well, that's good too. So you gotta give people. I ain't gonna say people, but you gotta have common sense too. So I notice a lot of people that, let's just say, are better off than other people. They don't have the best common sense. They don't have the best street knowledge. You got to be a mixture of both. If you're not a mixture of both, you always gonna struggle at one point, and you're gonna be like what Ruby says. You're gonna want to go experience, the bad boy lifestyle, because we see that all the time. Like, Somebody got everything, and they downgrade who they want because they never experienced that. Their father never showed them that. Their mother never showed them that. You got to show your kids everything. You got to, not everything, but you got to show them both sides. And I think for the most part, then they'll decide what they want to do. But go ahead, B.
Nah, for sure. I was just saying that Kirby put some in the chat. Kirby, if you don't mind, I'd love to, hear your take.
Yeah, pull up, Kirby, pull up.
The stream is in the chat. But she mentioned, she said he wanted to control her. He went to Cassie because Kim was starting to fight him back. I think that is I think it's
100% true.
I would love to get Kirby to to jump on, because you got to understand, like I see. Here's the thing, bro. It's allegations out there that says that Diddy even tried hit his mom, bro.
For real?
Yeah, bro.
He just got
and I'm talking about as a kid, like in his early, like he was like abusive to his mom too.
So I want to see like where did it come from? I wonder if his dad was abusive, his grandparents was abusive. It had to come from somewhere.
It had to be a cycle of abuse. Either that, or maybe, just maybe the parents just let him do what the hell he wanted to do. Or maybe he just had that natural anger, / abusive, evil spirit about him.
He the only kid too, right?
I think so.
That's weird, bro. I don't know.
And maybe it was another theory. Maybe he's, a closet, homosexual. I'm just being real, and he probably hates women.
That's probably what it is. I don't think it's the closet at this point. I think it's out there.
But think about it. This guy, he's never been married, right? He's never been known to take the women in his life seriously.
Still partying.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then even the woman that he had, right? He got her in freak off parties with other dudes.
Yeah, he only date women that he could control.
Dr. O way.
And that he can abuse, really. He only date women that he can control and or abuse, because every long-term relationship he's had has been a level of abuse, including his own mom, from allegedly. Yeah, so my question is does he have a love-hate, more on the hate side for women? Is he a closet?
I think that's something that's going on right now with women. When we hear too many men don't have a care for women, I think that is a trigger that's going on in dating right now. Is you have a ton of men who are out here really hating women, and it's like, we don't want to say you gay. We don't know, but if you are, then you need to go ahead and come out, because there's a hatred, because you're hating a part of yourself. But also, I think it's a flag to women when we hear men not want to be in love. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, what's going on? Like, you don't want to be around women. You want to be around men. That's something in dating that is a huge red flag for a woman, where every other thing is bitch this and hoe this, and there's no care for women, and I think we're moving into a time where women definitely need to be cautious of that early on. If you see that this man doesn't have any relationships with women that are healthy, why would you want to date that man? And I think as men, they need to be like that. So I'm gonna let Dr. O hop on stage here, because I'm glad she here. What up?
Oh, she came on camera too.
Dr. O.
Good morning.
Oh.
Hey, good morning. What we talking about? What's going on?
We want to know your thoughts about this situation. Yeah. How about we play a video first, and then we ask your thoughts. Ruby, let's run us a video.
Yeah, and then I want to ask that question as well. You know what I'm saying?
Which video y'all want me to play?
Shit, I don't know anyone. Fuck, they got a lot of them. Do the one.
How many times did you personally witness him be violent towards women? Around 4 or 5 times.
And was that all with Cassie, or was it Cassie and other women?
I seen him with Cassie, and I seen him with Kim Porter, his kid's mother.
Right, who's now sadly no longer with us. But what did you see him do?
I've seen him get physical. I've seen him get really physical, grab.
Uh-oh, did it go away? I got a question, Dr. O, on this, right? Because it's a lot of theories floating around. One is, Freddie, one of his previous artists from Making a Band, quoted. He said that he thinks that Diddy may hate women, because he may be a closet homosexual, and as a result, and him not living in his truth, makes him act out violently towards women. That's a theory, right? And the other theory is, we've never seen Diddy in a relationship with a woman that he hasn't been able to fully control and it not be some level of abuse. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, number one, I don't want to hear anybody coming forth after the fact. I don't understand why people do that, right? So the bodyguard, who was it? It's a former NFL player. He has like a talk show now, and Stephen A. Smith actually had a video of him playing in his video about the apology. And I don't know the young man's name, but the young man was basically saying every P. Diddy is a B word and everybody around him is a B word because now y'all want to talk. He's been acting like this. Y'all been letting him act like this. This has been going on. Regardless if he's a homosexual or not, which I don't think is the key point of this matter. Someone who is an abuser, regardless of why they're abusive, whether he's gay or not, doesn't matter to us. What matters to me, or what should be in our thought process, is why do we allow people in power to get away with things for so long? And then by the time things come out, now everybody has something to say. But he's been doing this. They already had the footage. If they had the footage yesterday, they had it today. They had it in 2016, and they're just now showing it. So someone has known about this for a long period of time, and now all of a sudden, now we want to talk about it. Now we want to apologize. Now everybody has something to say, but you guys weren't speaking prior to. So I don't want to hear the bodyguard talking about Kim Porter now. She's dead. I don't want to hear the bodyguard talking about Cassie. Y'all were all around when this was happening well before she made the claim. So anyway, as far as P. Diddy's sexual preferences, I think the reason why people are caught up on that is because they are trying, you know how everyone tries to demonize somebody for something, whether that man is gay or not, he's an abuser, because in my mind, he would do men like that too. I don't see him being gay as the reason why he hits women. I think he hits people. I mean, I just think he would beat people. I think he is mean to people. I think he's a butthole to people. His sexual preference has nothing to do with it. And even if he was gay, so what? I don't understand why that's even a matter of the topic. I think he likes women. I mean, he obviously likes women too also. If he does like men, he likes women. But either way, he's an abusive person as a person. And I think he would abuse anybody. I don't think it's the fact that he would abuse just women. I'm sure there's men that have something that P. Diddy has done to them too. But it's just that the women are starting to speak out. Kim Porter, rest her soul. She's not here to speak out for herself. Maybe she was about to speak out, and that's why she's not here. Bodyguard, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear the bodyguard talking now. I don't want to hear it. It's not credible. It's just, you're a part of the problem. He should be arrested too.
Right.
He should be arrested.
Kim was writing a book before she passed away, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah. You know what, O'Neal? You're absolutely correct. She was writing a book. And I remember her and Cassie had gotten a hold of each other as well. They had been in communication with one another as well. And so, anyway, my point is this. Whether that man is gay or not, he's an abuser, period. Him being a homosexual or closet or whatever, and apparently he's not in nobody's closet because all the people who've been to his parties know what he does. People around him knows what he does. In the closet means not too many people know at all. But these bodyguards are always coming out after the fact, and it makes no sense. I can't hear them. I don't hear nothing that they're saying, because you didn't say anything when he was beating the little girl in the hallway. Why are you speaking up now?
Facts.
That's crazy to me. So anyway, I'm over P. Diddy. I think that what is happening right now, it just goes to show any of us what you do in the dark will come true in the light. When the light is there, don't come apologizing now. His apology is disgenuine. It's fake. Whoever his PR team is, they're stupid. They need to be fired. He's been like this, way before this. Look at all the deaths surrounding this guy. Look at all the jail surrounding the guy. Look at all the people that have touched this man's life that have hell on their hands. Look at all the people that he's affected. And then, start there. Go back to Shine. Go back to, what's his name, Big Papa. Go back to all the people he's touched. Something crazy has happened to those people. He's just an anomaly. I don't know. I'm over him. I'm really over. I was over him a long time ago when he was doing that, making the band. Just the way he talks to those little boys.
He's talking them crazy.
He was talking to Danity Kane that way. I think there was a girl on there that he alienated off the show because he was like, "Oh, I don't like how you move," but I think it's because she stood up for herself out of the group.
Yeah.
I think for making the band, I do. He's disgusting. He talks to them people crazy.
He's never been good. And the thing about people, and no offense to any Christians at all, what I'm about to say, the thing about people is he keeps on throwing God in there. And that should be totally offensive. Like, everything is God. Well, I hope God will forgive me. Why? I hope that God will have the say so. I God this and God that. That should be the number one sign that somebody's a sociopath.
Mm-hmm.
He probably likens himself to God.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and when they're at that level, when they're worshiping, when you're like untouchable, and this is where
we saw you.
Need to be accountable.
Yeah, he won't be accountable. He's not accountable.
But even the people around him, it can't just be him. It's the people around him. How you a security guard? How you supposed to be a protection person? You have these swore oaths to protect people, but you're getting all these payoffs for years. I mean, same with R. Kelly. I mean, they had women. They knew these women were in the rooms. They seen them not. I mean, I don't understand how you can take a job like that, and then now that all it hits the fan, you never see these people go to jail. They never get held accountable. You're an accessory to assault. Where's the laws behind that?
And you know what's crazy? K. Michelle, she was doing an interview and she was really emotional in this interview, to your point, Queen. And she was crying, she busted out crying eventually, but she was trying to hold her composure. And she said, it's interesting that everybody is getting on R. Kelly, which he's responsible for his acts, right? He should be, whatever's happening to him is fine. But what we don't understand is that the mamas were in the kitchen cooking when the girls were in the house. Their parents were in there cooking in the kitchen when the girls were in the house. That's the part they don't show you on the video. So let's go ahead and call spades, but let's call
the moms and the daughters was there. And
K. Michelle was also confessing that she was also a witness to this herself. She was putting herself out there. She was putting out the moms. She was putting out the people around them. She was putting out R. Kelly. She just busted out crying in this interview, and she was saying, we all were a part of this. Why is it just him getting in trouble? She put everybody out there, and she said the part of the video we do not see in Surviving R. Kelly, all three series or whatever they were called, the moms were in the kitchen cooking. Why is that not being shown? Now, if she's lying, let her be a lie. But back to Queen's point just now is, why is everybody involved? Why is everybody involved? Not account. My cousin witnessed a murder. He did not pull the trigger. He was in the car with the guys who murdered the dude. My cousin served 8 years in prison for being in the car.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And see, a lot of this is because people are getting paid off. Tina Turner probably could have gotten out of her situation, but her mom was the problem. Every time she ran away, her mom let him know where he was because she was getting a payoff. And that's where I feel like you're bribing people. That's where the crime is. And I feel like until laws match up with, okay, well, if you witness this, you can go to jail just as much as them. Then you won't have all these people will they be held accountable? It wouldn't get this far, but because we don't have these types of laws in place, that's how these people are able to get away with it. Well, I can turn a blind eye because I got to feed my family. I got to do this. And that's when people like R. Kelly and even just Hollywood men in general feel like they're untouchable. My money rules, not ethics, not, all that goes out the window when I'm paying your bills.
It's all about that money. And then the people that work for them, they feel like they can't make that money nowhere else either. So that's typically why they come. For the most part, that's why they're going to stay. They like the lifestyle they live in, they like the parties they go to, the cities, the yachts, They feel like if they feel like, hey, if they say something, all that's cut off. And I want to transition real quick. Dr. O, if this was your dad and you found this out on the news, what would your thoughts be?
Man, I would be crushed. I'd be hurt. Like if I didn't know at all, like I don't know nothing.
You didn't know nothing.
No, I'd be crushed. And I would want justice for those who were hurt, right? I would want justice for those who were hurt because I would put myself in the place of the victim. Always. I would always put myself in the place of the victim. I would be crushed because I don't see my father like that. I didn't know my dad was that way. I didn't know this about my father. I would be crushed. I would need all kind of psychological help and everything. And that's the other part about it. He keeps on trying to throw up the kids. Y'all remember that scene in New Jack City? And he holding up the babies before he got shot. What's his name? Stupid Nino Brown.
Nino
Brown. Nino Brown holding up the little kids so he don't get shot. That's how I feel. I feel like he's been putting his babies in front of us. He's been putting the Lord in front of us. He tried to get my dad laying his head on the chest of Bishop T.D. Jakes. He's been trying to play that role for so long. And
he's trying to clear the air.
Hide them demons.
Yeah. He's been trying to, but no, because yes, you're right, Byron. He's been trying to hide the demons, but also he's been getting exposed harder than we've been noticed. Not us, because we don't care, but most people haven't noticed. I went to his Twitter page or whatever. I don't want to lie. I went to one of his social media sites yesterday. Excuse me. I went to one of his social media sites. He still has 14 million followers. No, nothing dropped off. Nothing stopped. And I'm confused as to why is he getting an audience? Why is anybody? What do you want to follow? Why is Bishop T.D. Jakes at your party? You beat a girl in the hallway. Bishop was very aware of this. Everybody was aware of this before we were, right? I don't know why everybody's in shock. People want to be around this. People like this. The money, the drugs, the sex, all the stuff. Like people want to be around this stuff. And now, and so who are we going to, back to accountability, who's going to be accountable and say, hey, I'm wrong for being around P. Diddy? I didn't hear the bodyguard say, hey, my bad, y'all. I suck. I was a witness. I'm sorry. I didn't hear that. It was just, oh, yep, he's been doing this. Oh, Diddy. R. Kelly. Epstein. Ghislaine. That's what I hear, right? Weinstein. I don't hear anybody involved saying, you know what, my bad. I should go to jail. Put me on the witness stool. I'll do this. I'll do that. I have not heard anybody step up and say, I'll be accountable for my actions. I have not heard Bishop T.D. Jakes say, I apologize. You know what he said? Bishop T.D. Jakes said, and I quote, if I did do something wrong, the Lord will forgive me. That's what I heard.
Oh, Lord.
Wow.
That's what I heard. I didn't say it. He said it. If I did do something wrong, the Lord will forgive me. That's what Bishop T.D. Jakes said. He did not say, you know what? I hate that I was at those parties with an S. I hate that he was at my church all the time. P. Diddy was always at the Potter's house. Physically, in the building, all the time.
And
right?
they love that clout.
Right? And his head is laying on the head, and they all cooped up, So if I found out, back to O'Neill's question, if I found out that there was a demon in my midst, I would want that demon to be executed or handled, if you will. I would want that situation to be handled. And I would say, hey, listen, although I wasn't a part of it, I feel like I am. And what can I do? Like, what can I do to help? I would want to get involved. I don't understand why nobody's speaking up for Cassie or Kim or whoever else he done mess with. I don't understand why everything is just, oh yeah. Oh, he's been doing that. Yep, that's him.
Tell me, does it speak to our human condition in general? Because it seems like, right, everybody wants to participate in the debauchery, in the fun, until the lights come on. Let's talk about it.
That's good. I like that. But Byron, also, yes, people do want to participate in the highlight and they don't want to participate in this part, but they've been knowing about this part. So I think when it comes to the programming, I think that's more choice. Because to me, programming means that I'm not fully aware that I'm operating like this. I think birds of a feather flock together. I think that if Bob is beating his wife and Tom is cool with that, Tom beats his wife too. That's how I think. I
Absolutely.
think that if Shaniqua is mean and nasty to her husband and she's hanging around Boom Shika, I think Boom Shika does. I think they're the same people. Because I would never be around a female that I know disrespects her children or her husband or anybody else. And I'm with her comfortable around her, laying my head on her shoulder, singing songs to her and all at her parties and stuff. If I wasn't the same person, I have to be.
Why do you think TD Jakes was kicking it with P. Diddy at these parties so hard?
Because they're the same people. Test the spirit by the spirit. You have to be. You and O'Neal are on the same wavelength. Of course, different men, different times, different things, but same hearted, same dreamish, same all, there's some similitude between you and O'Neal, right? There's some passion, some stuff. You guys bond, things of that nature. And so if I see it with you two, why wouldn't I see it with them two? And I can't close a blind eye. I think this under the rug society and closing that blind eye, I don't think that's programming as much as I think it's choice. Uncle Buck has been messing with the kids. Uncle Buck, you know what y'all say? People say, "Oh, that's just the way he is." And I believe we've just Uncle Bucked our society so much so, even with women, even with females, that's just the way she is. She's been like that. And it's like we keep on giving these passes, and then when people get beat up in a hallway and it gets put on CNN, everybody has something to say.
So my thing is this, right? You had something?
Yeah, I was gonna say, now that I think about it, everybody knows somebody, uncle that's touching somebody in their family, and they never say nothing.
Or that man who abuses his wife.
Yeah. That's crazy that Dr. O said that. The Uncle Buck, everybody knows somebody that touched their daughter, touched their niece, touched their granddaughter, and nobody ever say nothing. So,
and that's white, black, Chinese, O'Neal, that's rich, poor, that's everybody. Everybody. So we're not even labeling one community, one pedigree, one creed. It's everyone knows someone, or someone who's been violated.
That's crazy. That's true. So it's the same thing with Diddy. So it's just his life is highlighted.
What goes on in this home stays in this home. That's what people have been taught. That is what goes on in this house. Not everybody else needs to know. And if the world needs to know, we turn a blind eye because it doesn't affect my family immediately.
Yeah,
and because of that, Queen, I taught my children, tell it. Tell it all. Tell it on me. Tell it on the son. Tell it. You know what my daughter does? She tells and tells and tells. All she knows how to do is tell. Tell it. Tell them. Now, most of the stuff she tells obviously is good stuff. But if you feel any kind of way, you tell it. And I told my son the same thing. We do not hush our mouth about anything. So I do not get embarrassed if she tells people my mom spanked me, which I don't really spank her. But if she did, it doesn't matter to me. Tell it.
And even in domestic violence classes, they don't teach women to scream for help. They tell us to scream for fire. Why fire? Why can't I say I need help? Why have we gotten to a point where I have to yell, help, there's a fire, versus help, this person's trying to kill me. This person's trying to kidnap me. It's because we as society has made it okay for the boogeyman to be outdoors.
Yeah, if you say, so you got to think about it like this. If you scream for help, most people not going to go. If you scream fire, most people going to go. Because they already know what's going on in your house. So if you screaming help, they don't I don't want no parts of that.
Yeah. too many women. I've walked up to cars, men bashing women's heads into the windshield, and I'm talking about I'm trying to pull the sister out, and I look down and there's a knife in his leg because she done stabbed him. Right? And I'm trying to pull, and you know what she says? It's okay. Every female that I've ever tried to rescue, it's okay. We're fine.
We
Every
good.
single time I've tried to rescue a female, or the man is like, "Oh, you gonna help her? You don't see what she did to me. You don't see my face. You don't see my leg. You don't see my chest. You don't see my, So I do understand why we would scream fire and not he's trying to kill me, because if you scream out he's trying to kill me, if he's trying to kill her, he's trying to kill you. And so I do understand that part, but I think what Queen is saying, moreover, is that why can't we just be honest about our condition and situation? And to your point, O'Neal, a lot of people do know about what's going on with you, and no one can do anything. Not even a judge can step in if you're not going to speak up for yourself. But I think to her point is that why are we not creating a simple law, right? It should be he's trying to kill me law. And when you hear that, you should be able to punch this number or call this person or push this button or something. The laws around domestic violence or abusive situations need to change. And whenever someone is bribed financially, like the people at the hotel, which is now shut down, but you knew who was working there at the time that it was open, why is that person not in jail that took the money for the video that we all see? And like his bodyguard said, a copy of the video was given to Cassie. And I'm going to say something a lot controversial. Hold on one second. If you don't report this crime and it was against you, you should be in trouble too. I remember they took my cousin's girlfriend to jail because she was letting him beat her. She went to jail for that.
Mm-hmm.
You let him hit you.
I got a question. And shout out to Kirby in the building as well. I got a question, right?
Kirby.
I got a question because I had an ex, right? I had an ex-girlfriend of mine. And she was very, I probably had more, verbal altercations. It was never really physical, but verbal, it was always a combative situation with her. And what I noticed, number one, was her parents were the same exact way. Literally, her parents were fighting each other till the day her dad passed away, right? And my question is, literally, this man and this woman fought each other their entire relationship. And why? It's almost like, how do you help a person, or is there help for a person or woman or man who stays in a relationship? And I'm talking decades in the same relationship. At what point is it okay?
That's the lifestyle at that point.
Yeah. At what point is it a lifestyle opposed to helping somebody survive a situation? I want to open it up to Kirby because I know she just got in here, and then pivot that to Dr. O and Ruby if she wants to tackle that one.
Okay, can y'all hear me?
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Good morning. So Byron, can you say it like one more time so I make sure I get it?
So I'm saying, like, when you see somebody in abusive relationships for decades, at what point is it a lifestyle opposed to somebody needing help?
Well, I saw it. For my sister was abused, and I was too young then. I think I was like 4 or 5. But from what I remember, he always told her, I'll kill you. She was just scared for her life. Like and she was with him for years, and then they had a son, which is my nephew. And then, he was using the baby, just things against her because at that time she was very kind of like Cassie, very not I would say she wasn't independent. She was just like, oh well, this is what I know. But it took really one time he beat her almost till she was like she couldn't move, like kind of how Diddy was beating Cassie. You just at some point you just lay there because you're waiting for it to be over. And my daddy was like, you know what, he went up to the house. He's like, I'm gonna kill you before you kill her. So it took my dad like stepping in because he didn't know what was going on, but my mom did. But she was like, they were just scared he was gonna like, really severely hurt her. And they were trying to figure out, back then, like the 80s, 90s, you couldn't run like you could run today. You probably didn't have the support or the, the resources you do today. But I know that Cassie was probably scared for her life, and he use a lot of his power, he's a narcissist, what I'm saying? He has like, he's just crazy. I know somebody personally when Diddy was, he spoke at, what was it, Earn Your Leisure last year? Was it last? Yeah, last year he was a keynote speaker, and I was so excited. I believe so. Not Earn Your Leisure, but the Invest Fest. He was the keynote at Invest Fest, and I was so excited to see Diddy. And I was telling one of my colleagues, and she was not impressed, right? I'm like, what he do to you? And she was just telling me she actually did A level or A-list security for multiple athletes. And anyway, long story short, she was doing an event where Diddy was at, and she said that he was just a jerk, and he was very disrespectful to her as a woman. And she was just saying how he's being depicted now is exactly how she described him. And it's like he thinks he's above everybody, but mostly above women. So everything that he did or there's that we're seeing now, it doesn't surprise me. And Cassie was probably just scared for her life. If y'all watch, I don't watch a lot of Tubi, but I am now. There's
pretty good.
It'll be pretty good because they had TMZ did this thing. I think it was called Not Surviving Diddy or The Downfall of Diddy.
The Downfall, yeah.
And it was a lot of people on there, especially Aubrey O'Day. I believe everything that those people were saying, but I think, but going back to that security guard, if he saw something and he didn't say something, he's just as bad or just as, guilty as Diddy is, but that's all I got to say. It's just been a lot this week with Diddy and then Cameron. It's like all of this stuff. I commented under Diddy's post, his so-called apology post, like, are you sorry you got, for what you did, or sorry you got caught? He's just sorry he got caught. Just like Charlemagne said on he got the donkey of the day or something. Everything he said was true. As I was like, all he did was go through all the comments because everything he said was just summing up all the comments. But it was just sad that it had to get to this point where, we had to see him as a liar. And then, I don't know, I'm just rambling, but this whole thing has just been a lot, seeing it and then, witnessing it at such a young age. And then, people were like, oh, why did she leave earlier? She probably thought she was going to die. You know what I'm saying? She was that her trying to run then is what we saw that time. What about the other time she tried to run? What about when she was behind it? When we didn't see the cameras? So it's like, sometimes I don't know. It's just hard to. I've been a witness of it. I haven't had it happen to me, but you don't know, what's going on in their head if they think the next time they're going to kill them, and who's to say what happened to Kim? Like I'm like second guessing everything about Diddy at this point, so that's all I got to say. It's very disappointing that, it had to come to this and we had to see that on a Sunday, had to come out. Yeah. It's just
straight up the church.
So
disgusting. Right after church, on a Pentecost Sunday, we don't want to see this. But yeah,
I want to know, like, what do you tell? Because he got 7 kids. You're talking about 4 daughters, 3 sons. What do you tell your kids about this? Like, how do your kids look at you? Like, this is disgusting.
Probably what he told us. I'm messed up. Not an excuse. Yeah,
he definitely gave them a even better excuse. You know what I mean? He just, because he's not sorry. Like we all know that this is not an apology. Well, anybody who believes that it's an apology, I just think you're missing the point. That wasn't an apology. That was a shame for being caught 100%. But I want to hear Dr. O's take on this. How do we, because obviously, right, in these abusive relationships, right, it's usually more nuanced than it is black and white. So how do we decide, right, whether this is abuse, and we need to rescue a person, or, you know, this is just a lifestyle of two people who have decided to remain in abusive environments?
Well, the good thing about people that want out, they actually do want out. And when you help them get out, they'll get out. If they go back, they want it. That's a period, right? So if you say all day long, I don't want to do real estate anymore, I'm done with real estate, I'm done with real estate, you keep on saying you're done with real estate, and then the next deal comes and the next deal comes, you keep on doing real estate, you want to keep doing real estate. So women that want out, they get out. And so I think everybody should be, you know, I won't say tested, but everyone should have an opportunity to get out if they want to, meaning that if I see an abusive situation, or even hear its tones, its looks. Diddy used to do a lot of funny looking, like looking crazy and stuff, right? I pay attention to looks, energies, kind of like what the sister Kirby was saying, that the other sister was saying about him, the way he talks to women and things of that nature. These are all signs of abusive people behaviors, right? Donald Trump saying that he grabs women by the pussy, right? These are harsh terms. This wasn't, oh, I grabbed them by their private area. He wasn't kind about it. I grabbed them by their pussy. This is what he said, right? Excuse my French, but this is what he said. That should show you the sign of an abuser. Us seeing Melania slap his hand away and all that stuff. No, ma'am. No, sirs. Before all of that, something else was going on with this person. By the way they treat people. So look at how they talk. Look at how they act. Look at their tone. So when we see an abusive person, woman or man, right? Because I've seen abusive parents, little women calling their 2-year-olds the B word and stuff. If the woman will call a 2-year-old a B, I think she'll throw a pot at the baby too. That's just that's the way I think. I feel like if you'll cuss your child out, I think you'd hit them. That's how I feel. I feel like if a man will beat a woman, he'll rape a woman. This is just my thought process, because I've just seen too many instances where we ignore the signs. So number one, I would pay attention to the signs of abuse, right? Signs of abuse are uncomfortable, very uncomfortable looks, sayings, words, and tones, right? Very uncomfortable. They're not normal. It's not loving. It's not positive. Donald Trump could have easily said, I let them know how much I desire them. He could have said that, and I would have kind of thought, okay, maybe he's doing something else. But to say what he said, that let me know he's a violator, right? So if you hear violating speaking or violations in looks, if a woman is talking and a man is just kind of like glaring at her, or a man is talking and a woman is glaring at him, they're probably in an abusive situation. So first thing is pay attention to the signs. Secondly, ask the person, do you want out? If they say yes and they get out and stay out and you help them, so be it. If they say yes and they go back, they don't want out. They want to stay in that situation. And we're dealing with addictions, Byron. We're dealing with addictive behaviors. We're dealing with brain chemistry, emotional stuff. We're dealing with spiritual battles. Like, we're dealing with a lot more than he beats me or she beats me. Right? We're dealing with spirituality and generational curses. Like, it's a lot more that goes into it than just, oh, he hits her or she hits him. So those who want out will get out and stay out. They will change their name. They will change their number. They will move away. They will do everything they can to stay out. And then at the same time, they will seek criminal charges against their suspect, against the assailant. The person that's doing that damage to them, if they're not willing to go through incrimination, then they're probably going to go back to that situation eventually, even if they don't want to, because that person has so much control and power. As Ruby stated, there's a power dynamic, as Kirby just stated, and people don't consider the power dynamic. And even though we don't think Donald Trump has power or Puff Daddy has power, to these people, he does. And we can see that by the way they put up with him. Even his bodyguards, he had power over his bodyguards, apparently. So anyway, I said that to say we're dealing with more than just hitting and talking crazy to people. There's so many other chemical and psychological things that we're not considering as a whole that happen when there's an abusive situation. My sister and I were abused by our mother. Most of even as I'm an adult, my mom is still very abusive. But because of relationship, or because I'm forgiving, or because I'm working on some things, I still had dealt with her. People like, how could you deal with her if she was so abusive? There's still psychological things and other type of barriers that we have to deal with. So I've been in not with a man, I've never been in an abusive situation with a male, but I've been in abusive situations with my relatives. And of course, I don't hang around them or anything like that. But, you're dealing with more than just he hits me and she hits me. It's a lot of other factors that we have to listen to. So number 1, pay attention sign. Number 2, ask them if they need help. Number 3, if they go back, they don't want the help. They don't.
I mentioned that, because there was another piece that we don't really hear about, right? We don't really hear about this piece in that same video, right? That's why it's good to listen to videos in full context, right? Let's see. Are y'all able to see my screen?
Yeah.
So listen to this real quick.
He was wrong. I knew he was wrong. If it happened on my watch, I would get in between it. But I felt powerless because I couldn't get in between it if I wasn't there. I couldn't get in between it if you stayed. And we've had conversations, Me and Cassie had conversations. Me and Kim had conversations. And Kim was basically telling me, she said, Barnes, I got 4 of them. She said, I allow these things to happen as far as him messing around with girls and stuff like that. And she said, when I get tired of it, he's going to know. And Cassie, you got to a point where it's like you talking to your daughter. And I'm giving her advice, but Cassie was so scared that the advice that you would give her, she would go back and tell him. And that would make you not want to talk to her or give her advice or tell her what she should do, because she would go back and tell him. Maybe when she got high and they was alone, next thing you know, he would call you over the speaker and tell you to, come to my room, come to my room. Why are you talking to my girl? Why are you talking to my girl? So a lot of people say, why did you stay? And I tell people, me, myself, I was also manipulated. He would also apologize to me like, I don't know what's wrong with me. That's not going to happen again. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to do better.
I wanted to bring that piece up, right? Because, it's difficult, right? And this is the reason why it's a little bit more nuanced and complex than what we wanted. We wanted to be black and white, right? We want to be able to say, oh, we saw the video and why didn't he do this and why didn't he do that? Well, what if he did? What if he did try to intervene and maybe she was not compliant with the intervention?
She wouldn't accept it.
Maybe what if when he tried, she was like, for whatever her reasons, maybe it was fear, maybe it was ambition, maybe it was, what if it was just she was okay to a certain degree with the cycle of abuse, in a sense to where, what if it was a situation where she was good when it was good and it was bad when it was bad? I mean, how do you help somebody in that situation? That's the question, because obviously this has been something that we've been dealing with as a human species throughout history. This is nothing new. P. Diddy is not, he's just the topic of the hour now. But what I'm saying is it will be another P. Diddy next week. How do we stop the next P. Diddy? Right? How do we stop the family member that's in the P. Diddy situation now that we've ignored collectively, even while on this call, because we don't feel like there's anything we can do? How do we help that person is what I'm trying to understand.
I think it starts with the laws. Domestic violence laws are too relaxed in this country. A person can go to jail and be out the same day back abusing, and I think as a society, we need to look at a way to do that. And the reason why I said this, in my situation that I brought up earlier, that same guy, that even though I wasn't in a relationship, they classified him, as attempted murder on me as domestic violence, even though we weren't even in a relationship. Well, fast forward 5 years later, he stabbed his baby mama 24 times. If it was classified correctly, he would have never gotten out of jail the first time. But sometimes when they attach the DV, the restraining order, all these things, it's too relaxed. It's not treated at the same level as you would expect, right? And the abuser has access to people far beyond, just a person saying, well, just go to jail. There's no repercussions in that, at a different level. So I think it really does start with a law changing and looking at not just them, but even the people around them needs to be accountable. As a healthcare worker, right? I'm a mandatory reporter. I can go to jail. I can get fined if I see abuse and I don't do that. Why isn't that not the same in domestic situations? You see what I'm saying? So I think it really does start with the law.
Kirby, what's your thoughts on that? Dr. O, what's your thoughts on that?
I'm gonna let Dr. O go first. I'm still thinking about it.
Oh, perplexed. What's your thoughts, O?
Man, you gotta want the help, bro. You gotta want
some
the help.
people, but here's the thing though. Some people don't know that what if they act as if they don't need the help, or maybe they're fearful of the help.
Well, what can I do? I can only, say go to therapy. I can only say it's not right. That's all I can say. But if you as the individual are just cool with that, then can I really do something? You know what I'm saying? The person that's getting abused have to know, look, this shit ain't right. I need help, or I need to talk to somebody or something. That person that's being abused have to be accepting of that. But for the most part, they're not, because it becomes normal. And they feel like the person that's abusing them, that's how they're showing them love. That's how, you know what I'm saying? So that's a hard thing. I don't think that's ever gonna go away. Honestly, I know it's sad to say, but it is what it is.
Dr. O, what's your thoughts on that? How do you help a person that literally, right? How do you really help somebody who literally stays in the same situation or fights against the help that you give them for whatever their reason?
You just don't. I mean, if you want to take on that mandatory reporter type, mindset, I think, overstepping their boundaries, like listening to that bodyguard, to me, it sounds like CYA. Like I call BS on him. Because we're acting like this is Cassie and Kim Porter when we know that this is multiple people, multiple situations, not just with P. Diddy, but like you're saying with like our society. And to Ruby's point, the laws are very relaxed on human trafficking, on abusive situations, because there's people in power that do these same things who make the laws that are lax because they're also a part of they do this too. And so you can't help someone that doesn't want the help. And you definitely can't help someone who is not going to take the help that you give them and do something about it. So the only thing you can do is to make the report. The problem is, to Ruby's point, is that you'll make the report, you'll file the report, and it won't be taken seriously. And then another victim will come about and end up stabbed 24 times or dead, shot in the head or whatever the case may be. And you did make a report. So you've got two things happening at once. You can't help someone that doesn't want the help. You can't overstep, right? Because if he said, oh, I'm talking to her like she's my daughter, what real father would just talk to their daughter? You don't talk to your daughter. You beat P. Diddy up. That's what you do. Why didn't the bodyguard ever put his hands on P. Diddy?
It's a great question.
Oof.
As a grown adult male, why, as a bodyguard, meaning that you have some skill of some type of fighting or defense or whatever, you have some skill as a bodyguard. Why
Should have
didn't
jumped on his ass.
Why didn't you beat him up? Because he said, see, this is my thing. I'm into psychology, right? He used the term like she was my daughter. But I know men that it won't even be a daughter. If a man sees another man violating a female, he will put so you psychologically said publicly, you know, like a father would talk to a daughter, but a father wouldn't beat another man up on behalf of his daughter. So I don't want to hear this bodyguard dude. Like, you're lying. You're CYAing right now. And it's like, oh, she wouldn't take the help. And if we try to help her, she would go and tell. And so what? No, listen, I don't care if you tell on me, telling on you, telling you what to do with this psychopath. Like, I'm a female and I would probably try to physically help her with this man. And I'm a woman. You're a whole bodyguard and you didn't beat him up one time? He could have been in work. And listen, let me tell you something. He could have worked for anybody after that. If they say, oh, yeah, he's that bodyguard, he'll beat you up. I would believe this bodyguard because you won't even let me violate people. So I know you protect me. But so I'm not in what's going on. But so for me, you can't help someone that doesn't want the help. You can't overstep your boundary and go ahead and try to record or do a video or something. You think this bodyguard doesn't have video of what P. Diddy's been doing? But anyway, you can overstep your boundary and report the report. You can do that. But still, it goes back to the laws as Ruby is stating, and it goes back to what O'Neal is stating. If a person doesn't want out, guess what? They just don't want out. And that might be their life path. And we are not here to direct people's life paths. We are here to show them, lead by example, let them know they have support, let them know we care for them, but we cannot save them if they don't want to be saved. And I think that's the harsh reality about abusive situations, whether it be on the job, racism, sexism, abuse, the things that we're talking about, whatever the circumstance, the situation is, you can't save someone that doesn't want to be saved, but you can overstep your boundary and report the information and at least have a record of the report. And you're gonna have to let the hard knock life, get to them and let the school of hard knocks teach them better than you can. Period. It hurts and it's sad, but it's just the way that it goes. And there are too many situations, men and females, that will not get out of an abusive situation because they're addicted to it. And until you can fix those addictions, which is very tough, then you're not gonna be able to get these people out of these situations. They want to be there. It's hard to fathom, but they do. They somehow want to be there.
So I agree with after hearing Dr. O speak, I agree that the security guard shit, it was some bullshit because it's a lot of things that he said, like what Dr. O said, he talked to like a daughter. He would intervene. He said sometimes. He said he saw it happen 5 times. He said he saw it happen with 2 different women. But as a man, you should have stepped up and whoop his ass, or quit. Why are you still there? 5 times? I could see after the first time, yeah, he got manipulated. After it happened the second time, you should have jumped on his ass or quit. Like, why are you still 5 times? That's a lot. I'm sorry, that's a lot. As a man, that's too much, bro. Would you stay there, Byron? Would you watch that 5 times, bro?
Nah, bro. I'm not watching that 5 times.
So
I'm not watching a man, or I'm not watching anybody physically abuse anything or anybody. Period. Like I wouldn't even sit back and watch somebody physically abuse a dog, bro.
Right.
Like
no abuse.
I don't give a damn who it is. Like I'm not sitting here like watching somebody physically assault somebody, bro. You understand what I'm saying? That is not a mutual fight. Like a mutual fight, that's different, right? But nah, bro, I'm not participating in that. But at the same time, it's like, it's an ugly situation in a sense to where, ultimately, he just would have had to be in a situation where he just needed another job because P. Diddy was not going to stop doing what he was doing, right? And he went on to say that, to a certain degree, he felt like staying was his best way of helping her, which I think could have been BS too. Ultimately he stayed and he allowed that abuse to take place because he cared more about his paycheck than he cared about integrity, ultimately. And so, That's just what it is. The way I'm set up, my integrity kind of overrules money to me. You know what I'm saying? And so if I feel a certain way from an integral standpoint, me personally, I ain't participating. Money don't overrule my integrity. But that's because maybe I'm just comfortable making money. I don't know. Like, money ain't that serious to me to where it's gonna override my integrity. So I don't know, bro. I can't really speak to it. But yeah, in terms of me, yeah, I would just have to get another job. That just would be, I wouldn't be able to do that.
We gotta be honest though. Most people don't look at it like that. Most people care about the money. That's it. I don't care what y'all got going on. As long as I'm getting paid every Friday, well, y'all do what y'all gotta do.
Yeah, I think
a lot of people think that way.
Bam put in the chat he would forever be blackballed. I disagree. I disagree.
Really, you probably get hired by more people.
Yeah.
You got integrity.
Yeah. I think I don't think you would be blackballed for not allowing somebody to beat up a woman. That's crazy. I just don't believe that our society is that is to that level of depravity, just yet. I don't think we that far gone. I think he would have been actually hired for standing on business and standing on integrity, because ultimately, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all.
I would say as a security guard, you got to protect the person who you're working for, but you also need to check their ass when they're doing something wrong. That's your job as security.
Absolutely. Because what happens when that person,
if you really care about that person, that's
absolutely
that's what you should do. And if they got a problem when you say something that they're doing is wrong, or you check them about something, that may not be the job that's for you.
Nah, see, this is the thing. This is the thing. Nah, see, and that this is where I think a lot of people disagree with me on this. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't be believing in people having so much clout and so much power. I just don't believe in that shit. I believe every man can be touched. Yeah. I believe. Listen, P. Diddy is on a decline right now. He has no respect. Literally, you know what I'm saying? Billions of dollars. Nobody respects P. Diddy right now. Nobody is too big to be touched. I don't give a damn what nobody say. I think we need to rid ourselves of that understanding of the world. Like, and maybe because I've always kind of had that mentality, like, I'm anti-bullyable. Like, you're not bullying me. And I've been that way since a kid. Like, because I've always, listen, I fought every bully that I've ever had since a baby. Since I was a young child. And what I realized about bullies is that bullies are only bullies to people that they feel that believe that they have more power than them. Mm-hmm. And when I don't know why that was my energy. I've never allowed a bully to bully me ever in my life. And anybody that knows me, they will tell you, nah, not Byron. You could go bully anybody else, but you ain't bullying that dude. He'll crash out. He'll crash out you know what I'm saying? And it's just, I don't believe nobody is so powerful. And that's probably why I have a lot of confidence in myself. Like, I believe that I can do anything because I'm like, yo, like, nobody is, if it's another man putting his shoes on just like me, bro, I can do the same thing he do. I just got to want it bad enough. That's my mentality, you know? That's just the way I see it. So I don't believe that he would have been blackballed at all. It's always somebody that wants to work with people with integrity. And if he has to switch industry, so be it. So be it. Integrity matters. What's your thoughts on that, O?
I'm 100% with that. Integrity and accountability matters. If you can't be true to who you are, working for anybody or just being around anybody, then that's not really you. And I think, like for me, when I was working, but they had too much favoritism. I told the manager, look, y'all got too much favoritism going on. I'm out. I'm gonna go to a different department. I'm gonna call it as I see it. I'm not about to stay nowhere that I'm not appreciated, nowhere that they're doing some dumb shit. I'm gonna call it out and I'm gonna move the fuck on. It's easy like that. As soon as I feel it, I feel uncomfortable. Like in my situation, my last business partner. As soon as I see something, I'm uncomfortable. Like, I can't even talk to you like that. I can't be around it. I'm sorry. I just can't. I can't be around fake shit. It's just something in me. I don't know what it is.
And the other thing I think that we could talk about a little bit more is that we tolerate too much. We tolerate too much disrespect. We allow too much. We tolerate too much. So what Byron is saying is I'm not tolerating anything. And what O'Neal is saying is that when I see it, I say it. And so that's probably the first step, is that if you think about Kim Porter or you think about Cassie, where were the people that cared about those females? Because let a man whisper too loud around Dr. O, and everybody's like, did he just whisper loud around you? Is he whispering loud? Like, they feel violated. Like, he can't be in your life. He whispers too loud. Like, my people are petty. They're not putting up with nothing. So where were all the people that cared about Cassie? Where was her team? She had to have had people around her too saying, hey, look, you can't be with this guy. So to me, it goes back to what Ruby was saying earlier. Like, everybody's responsible and accountable, including Cassie, including, Kim, rest her soul, including whoever's allowing it. But it's like, where are the people that also care about you enough to say, hey, look, you need to move around? To the bodyguard's one point, I'll give him one sense of credibility on the fact that he said, hey, look, you need to move. You need to leave. You can't keep putting up with this. If he said that, I agree. He's telling her, hey, look, you need to go. This man is not going to change. He's just going to do it again. And at that time, she goes back and tells P. Diddy, your bodyguard told me to leave you alone, right? Instead of saying, you know what, I'm just going to leave this man alone. His bodyguard is right. His bodyguard watched him do this to other women. He's watching him do it to me. She opened up her mouth and told him. So it's like the person has to be accountable. The people around you have to be accountable. No one in my life is going to let me get beat up. I don't have anybody in my life that's going to let me be beat up. I don't. No one in my phone is going to let me stay in a relationship that's abusing me. Not one person. Everybody's fighting. So I'm confused as to how it got this far, this long on the sides of the women, even though Kim is like, look, when I get tired of him cheating on me, then I'll be done with him. Where were the people in her life as well? Like, where's everybody at? It's not just one person. Now, P. Diddy is 100% ultimately responsible for his actions, but it's like, where are all the other people involved in this situation? Everyone's getting a pass. We tolerate too much, and nobody says anything about anything.
And I'm still shocked at the hotel, because see, the cover-up was real.
That's crazy.
And how many things have gone down, even with the whole R. Kelly? I remember there was an episode where a mom was at the hotel. They knew that the child was at the hotel, but the hotel wouldn't let them upstairs for her to go and at least try to talk her daughter out of that. Why isn't there no laws around holding these hotels accountable, these chains that are allowing this abuse to go on at the same time? You know, some of these girls, you know, they get caught up in this road because the adults around them are not adulting. Like, what's going on with that? But let's hit commercial real quick, y'all. We gonna go to
let's talk about beating up these mortgages. You know,
yeah. Let's beat them up.
Where is?
If I can get to it. My God, where it at?
let's beat this dead up. Let's see.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.
Make sure you go to ice10k.com, man. Get your free savings and earn report, man. You beat up anything, beat up them interest rates, beat up that debt, man. We ain't trying to beat nobody else, man.
The Brown Sugar Cafe, yeah, man. The Brown Sugar Cafe put in there. They were probably worried about their checks. I want to highlight something though.
Yeah, you don't need to let money rule, rule your situation. But go ahead, B.
I want to highlight something. So here's the thing, right? So let's not act like Hitler didn't influence millions of Germans to kill, not millions, but a lot of German soldiers to kill tons of Jewish people because they were just doing their job, right? Historical context, right? So let's look at this. For whatever the rationale that they had, right? You literally had, tons of people murdered, essentially, by way of Hitler influencing soldiers to kill people off. And those people, in their minds, were literally just doing their jobs. What does that say about us as a people that will allow some of the most egregious things to take place because we're just doing our job?
That's bad, bro. I don't think we need to look at situations like I'm just here for a 2-week check. But if you stand on something, you stand on something. And if it don't match the principles that you stand on, there's always another job. That's how I feel about it.
But the thing about it is, most people are not willing to stand on
their own principles, right? Because most people look at it like they need that money.
Well, at the end of the day, it's kind of like one of those situations like, are we activists, right? Or are we, like at the end of the day, activism and business are not necessarily compatible in every regard, right? Unless your business is activism, right?
Well, somebody said it in the chat. Well, a lot of people live in fear for whatever reason. So a lot of people do live in fear. If I stand on what I believe, I'm not gonna have my job no more. I can't pay my bills. So we gotta think about the reality of a situation too, Byron. A lot of people do live paycheck to paycheck. So if they talk about, hey, I feel like this, hey, I feel like that, and they get fired, they may lose their car, they may lose their house. So they may lose more than just a job for saying how they feel and standing up how they feel. We gotta look, we gotta look at the real life situations. But I would say this: so if you feel uncomfortable at a job, they're doing things that you don't like, they're doing things you don't stand for, you as a person should start seeking another job. I wouldn't say just quit that day. I would say find you another job, use your PTO, call in sick if you need to go on an interview somewhere else. And once you got the other job, tell that job, hey, I do have a job currently. I'm gonna need 2 weeks before I get started because I'm with my 2 weeks at my other job. You don't want to burn no bridges. And then that's how you move on. But a lot of people just stick to a job. They hate going there every day. They don't like the boss. They don't like the people they're working with. They complain every day. You don't need to be that person. Find you another job. Stay there until you find you another job. That's what you should be doing. What you thoughts about that, B?
I 100% agree. I think, man, integrity just matters to me, bro. Like certain things matter to me. And as a result of those things matter to me, it's just money just ain't that important to me, bro. Money is just not that important.
Not everybody's situation.
Nah, but what I'm saying is I don't believe money should ever be that important to anybody.
Nah.
I just don't. I think when money is that important to anybody, bro, you are the true definition of money is the root of all evil.
Yeah, and money control you.
Yeah, and I believe you will never really get money at a high level if because
you do anything for money.
Yeah, if you'll do anything for money, because I believe that if you will do anything for money, you will allow yourself to be in extremely compromising positions right?
For $1.
For $1. And if you are for sale at that level, bro, I just don't believe you can accomplish goals that way. Just my personal opinion. I believe integrity opens doors for you to be successful. Integrity, standing on principle of certain things, open doors for you to be valued to a high level because here's the thing, bro. In order to be all in on something, you got to be off something else. How can you commit to something wholeheartedly if you're for everything? Those two are incompatible. And if you are all for something, right, you have to have some level of integrity, even if what you're standing on, it may not even be principled, right? But you got to be all in on something in order to accomplish something major.
Right.
So,
your thoughts about that, ladies?
Yeah, I agree. I think that there's a double-edged sword exposing everybody. Everybody's getting exposed right now. The bodyguard, the peoples, any of us who have anybody that's come to us. Now, I don't have anybody that's being violated at this moment, but when I did or I found out about it, I made a report. I don't ask because sometimes it puts people in a very compromising position. So I don't even ask if I should or if I could. I just report stuff all the time. I'd rather lose a relationship for reporting something than to sit up there and be in a relationship and allowing something. So, no, I agree with you all. There's no amount of money that should let you stay in a situation or circumstance, whether it be work or career, that's more valuable than your soul. I don't even see how people can sleep. I'm like Byron. I don't want to see anyone violating an animal. I don't want to see you cutting down trees you're not supposed to be cutting down. Like if it's a violation, it's a violation. So yeah, losing tolerance. I think sometimes people tolerate too much.
I agree. Curry, what you got?
Yeah, I'm definitely saying something. And now you can report things and confidentially now. So I like she said, I couldn't sleep at night knowing that I saw something and wasn't reporting it. And they can, you could be really saving somebody's life. It's a situation of life and death at this point, So I'm definitely gonna say something. The money will come. Money is the root of all evil, right? So for the love of money, but there's no amount of money in the world that's going to cost me my peace, and that's going to make me sacrifice my peace, and knowing that I could have said something and potentially saved somebody's life. So I'm gonna say something, and you can do it confidentially, like you can report without people knowing it's you. If you're scared that your bag is going to be messed up that much, I would just still say something and keep it moving. I couldn't sleep at night knowing that I saw something.
Kirby, what's your final thoughts of this Diddy situation? You think he's going to jail, or you think he going to bounce his way out of it? Talking about overall with all this shit going on, not just the hotel video.
You know what happened to O.J. Simpson? How he didn't pay for his crime. He didn't do it back in the day, or whatever he did. It eventually caught up with him. I think that what comes around goes around. Diddy's going to get it back. I don't know how, they can't charge him because it's old, but something's going to happen. He's going to reap what he's sown. I have no doubt about that. Maybe not jail time, but he's going to get it back. He's already going to, his pockets are already hurting. Nobody likes him. So he's going to get it back sooner or later. Just what happened with my sister's husband or ex-husband. He beat on her for years and he died of cancer. He suffered, it's going to come back eventually some type of way. So he'll get it back.
Doctor, what you think? What's your final thoughts about it?
On what, King?
On the whole Diddy situation. You think he'll go to jail? You think he'll bounce out of it?
Yeah, I don't know that he's gonna get jail time, but I'm with the sisters here. Death is waiting for everybody at some point, and if you want to send yourself to the grave faster, keep doing stupid stuff. So I don't see him getting jail time just based off of this system. As Ruby keeps stating, the laws don't really, money speaks louder than laws, But anyway, I don't see him getting jail time. I do see him, us getting a report that A, B, C, and D has happened, or he's dead. He might try to get out of it by, getting, going to some other country or something like that, but eventually it'll catch up to him. I'm not worried about his punishment at all. It's coming. And everybody around him is getting punished too. Everybody that was participating is getting punished as well.
Byron, what's your final thoughts, B?
Me, I think it's a wrap for Diddy.
Business
Business-wise, I think he's gonna, I don't see how he maintains his wealth. If he even has it, I don't even know how financially well off he really is at this point. I think a lot of what, I don't even think his money is like what people think it is. My other issue with it is I feel like he could save himself. Just my opinion, and nobody's gonna agree with me on this, right? But I believe that right now P. Diddy is not in a legal trial. P. Diddy is in a trial of public opinion, right? And the only way to sway public opinion is to be more public and plead your case, not really plead your case specifically publicly, but appeal to the goodwill of people publicly. And I don't believe he's going to do that because he doesn't
ego.
He doesn't really feel sorry for what he's done. I don't believe he really has that level of compassion and empathy in him to do that. And as a result of that, what is going to happen is he's going to hide behind lawyers, and eventually they're going to drum up some type of charges that are federal that he can't escape. And I think that they're going to get him, like whether it be a RICO, whether it be a sex trafficking, whether it be some type of charge that the federal that feds are going to create for him specifically to take him down. And I think he's going to go down as a result of that.
You think he'll go down as in jail, or you think he gonna keep bouncing out of situations
man, look, I see jail for him, bro. I see jail time for him, bro. I don't see him escaping this, bro. I just don't. I think like what Dr. O said, maybe if he leaves the country, maybe he got a shot. Yeah, maybe. But even still, bro, he's not gonna have I don't see things getting better for him, bro. I just don't. That's just my personal opinion. What's your thoughts on it? But I thought this even before the tape. I ain't see him escaping the situation even before the tape. So
I don't know. I think he'll keep, but I don't think he'll go to jail for it. I think he'll just lose his he lost his respect already. I think his net worth gonna drop. It already dropped from $1 billion to 800. So I think it's gonna keep dropping because most of his net worth came from deals that he had. Like he lost the liquor brands already. He lost Revolt already. I don't know what else he had. I'm sure he didn't really have a record label no more. So I think that everything will just keep dropping off, and it's just nobody want to do business with him. I think in order for him to continue the lifestyle he has and survive, he's gonna have to do some private investing. He got to invest money. Nobody knows his, and somebody else gonna have to be the face for him. That's the only way he's gonna continue the lifestyle that he has now. But going to jail, I don't know, man. I think he's gonna bounce around like Trump, man. They've been trying to get Trump in jail, but he just ain't going. He just ain't going. I think the same type of situation, bro.
I think jail time will suit him well, bro. That's another thing I think he could do to help himself. So, turn yourself in, bro. He'll never do it. But I think, bro,
crime. What is he going? Tell the police.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's going to jail.
I just, at the end of the day, I think he needs to pay a debt to society somehow, some way. And that is, if I'm just speaking from, if I was counseling him, I would tell him, look for ways to pay your debts to society somehow, some way. I don't know what that would, how that would manifest. Maybe he could support, battered women, go to some of these classes, learn how to, to educate people on how to avoid him, right? But I don't think he has I don't think he has the empathy. He
ain't built for that.
He ain't built for that. The narcissism is hot levels are too high for him to humble himself to that degree. But I think those are some things that he could do to improve his image from a public opinion standpoint. Because you got to understand, bro, I'm a true believer, and a lot of people don't believe me when I speak to this. I believe that because they always depend on lawyers, and I think lawyers have told us that no, you need to be quiet. No, you need to be quiet. Let us deal with it. Anything said publicly can and will be used against you in the court of law, and that is true. But again, P. Diddy is not in a court proceeding in terms of criminal charges right now. It's public opinion. And so I believe the only way to change this is he has to sway public opinion, because if he doesn't, the public opinion is going to pressure DAs and law enforcement to continue to go after him until they come up with something to take him down. And that's what I truly believe. That's why I know he's going to end up with some type of a charge, whether it's related directly or unrelated.
Yeah, they're going to try to find anything to put
anything to put him in jail.
Well, that's tough, man. That's tough. Well, hope y'all enjoyed today's episode, man. Like the video, subscribe. Next to the subscribe button, you can join the family. Got 3 different levels. We got Visionary, Legacy, Trailblazer. Click one of them, join. Make sure you go grab some merch, NoStingyEnergyPodcast.com. Go check out ice10k.com for your free savings and earnings report. Make sure you go check out Testify, man. The #1 CRM right now for any business. Automatically send out text messages for you. AI response for you. You can send emails. You could build landing pages. You can do funnels. All those different things on Testify CRM. Make sure you go to GoTestify.com. With that being said, man, we out. We're going to see y'all on Thursday. Y'all have a good day. Go make some money. Go network. Go meet some new people. And peace, man.
What's up, y'all? So most people struggle with sales. A lot of us in real estate, and we struggle with our sales. We struggle with follow-up. We struggle with leads. And we just basically missing out on deals. For me, I just got on Taskify CRM. They send messages out for you. And look, a lot of us have work. When you get off of work, you have hot leads ready for you. Make sure you check out Taskify CRM. I'm telling you, it automatically replies for you. And look, it sends you multiple messages. Like we're talking about drip campaigns, so you're not missing up on the lead follow-up. So make sure you check out Taskify CRM. Use coupon code NoStingyEnergy to get 10% off. I'm about to show y'all inside my CRM so I can see how it really works. Make sure y'all check it out. Peace.